We are long distance, about a 2-hour drive, but we communicate through messages and see each other once or twice a week. Meeting is not a problem, as I have plenty of time to go and see her whenever she wants. During these normal periods, we talk pretty much all day, every day, and she is such a fun and pleasant person to talk to. We get along very well during these times. Then, there are times when she is really affectionate, constantly flattering me and showering me with love. She's just the most amazing person on earth. But then, almost always after these periods, she decides to withdraw into herself, and she seems to become a completely different person. During these periods, I'm lucky if I get more than a few texts from her in a day. I might get a simple good morning text and maybe something later in the evening, or a very brief and casual conversation. However, there is never any kind of affirmation like, I love you, have a nice day, or sleep well. She never wants to actually have a conversation or even casually chat. She gets easily upset if I try to talk about something more serious or ask what's troubling her. She only says that me acting like that makes her mood worse. She works from home, so I see her going online and offline all throughout the day. However, when I try to ask her about her day or anything, she just ignores me or tells me she's too busy and tired because of work. But during these periods, she does other things like visiting family members or just going outside. She has told me about visiting family members for dinner and sent me pictures of her walking around late at night. She just doesn't seem to want anything to do with me at all. This week, she's traveling halfway across the country to stay with her sister for an entire week. Since we're long distance, every time this happens, I can't help but feel the worst and assume she's with someone else. At least I did at the start, especially when I saw she was online at late hours in the night. Because when we first met, we would stay up chatting until like 3 a.m. So maybe she was doing it with someone else. But now I'm trying to find some kind of optimistic explanation for this behavior. When I try to open up more and communicate my concerns or feelings for her during this period, she just acts cold, gets passive-aggressive, or acts clueless. One time, she simply texted me to not take it personally without any proper context. 2 weeks ago, she told me how much she loved me and everything. But then, the next day, she was just unavailable and has been since. This whole week, I've been trying to talk to her about it, and she either ignores me or gets mad. Last night, she got really mad at me simply because I asked her if she still loves me. I didn't respond with anger and just told her I loved her and care about her. But she logged off for the night without even saying goodnight. Then, the next day, I got a bunch of messages from her thanking me for being there when she needed it, even if it doesn't look like she cares. She said she was ashamed and that she had no morals during these periods, so she can't help herself. Keep in mind there was no apology or confirmation that she still loves me. She only said that I was very dear to her and that she supposedly thinks about me all the time. She also sent a picture of herself, kind of hiding half her face. I just can't help but find it very weird how she's supposedly mentally exhausted all this time, but can still work 7, 9 hours a day, travel to see family for dinner, travel across the country for a week, but can't be bothered to spend 10, 20 minutes texting her boyfriend every day or just tell him she loves him. I try not to be clingy, of course. And if she really is struggling during these periods, I always make sure to show her I'm here and that I care about her. But honestly, it feels like I'm telling a brick wall how much I love it. I do love her so much, and I do want to be with her. I want her to be her happy, loving self all the time, not just a few weeks every month. But when she has these periods, I find it hard to continue because, like I said, she's like a completely different person, and it makes me feel absolutely terrible. I feel emotionally neglected, and I feel like I'm just waiting around for her to get better. Then when she does get better, I constantly dread the day she's going to ghost me for another 2, 3 weeks. And of course, I'm not ruling out the suspicion that she's seeing someone else during these periods either, as I practically have no clue what she's doing or where she is. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. That is what it feels like. I told her once that this was how I felt sometimes, that she was just keeping me around for when she needs me. And she indirectly called me a drama queen. When I told her I'm not being dramatic, just expressing my feelings, she gave me the excuse that she was working a lot and just had a fight with a family member. Then she started asking me about my day, as if she cared. Comment 2. I think I actually know this. I'm just trying to scrape together any kind of rhyme or reason to find an excuse. But I know there's no reason. It's my first relationship too. So I have no experience, especially since it's long distance. I don't even know what's considered normal or not. It's affecting my confidence and judgment. I'm never sure if I'm doing something wrong or what it is. Now, for the update, thank you for sticking around for this update. So, the other day, something happened that really got under my skin. She posted a picture on social media, a group shot with some friends, and there was this guy standing a bit too close to her. Now, I'm not usually the jealous type, but this just hit different. I couldn't shake off the feeling that maybe she was closer to him than just friends. I texted her about it and she brushed it off, saying he was just a friend from way back. But the way she said it, it was like she was hiding something. I've been trying to piece together her behavior, and it's like a puzzle with missing pieces. I remember when we first started dating, she mentioned an ex who really messed her up. She never went into details, but I always had the feeling she wasn't over it completely. Now I'm wondering if this guy in the picture is the ex. It's like history is repeating itself, and I'm the one getting the short end of the stick. The next day, she was supposed to come visit, but she canceled last minute, saying her sister needed her. I was disappointed, but I understood. Family comes first, right? But then, late at night, I saw her online again, and it just didn't add up. She said she was helping her sister, but there she was, active on social media, liking posts and whatnot. I decided to confront her about it. I asked her straight up if she was seeing someone else. She got defensive, said I was being paranoid and that I should trust her. But trust is earned, and right now, she's making it hard to give her that. Yesterday, I got a call from her out of the blue. She was crying, saying she needed to tell me something important. My heart was racing, thinking, this was it. She's going to come clean about whatever's been going on. But instead, she dropped a shocker. She's been struggling with depression, and these periods when she pulls away are when it hits the hardest. She said she didn't want to burden me with it, that she thought she could handle it on her own. I was torn. On one hand, I felt like a jerk for doubting her. On the other, I was upset she didn't trust me enough to tell me sooner. It's like our whole relationship is on shaky ground now. I want to be there for her, but I also need to protect my own heart. Today I made a decision. I told her we needed to take a break, to figure things out on our own. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but something had to change. She was devastated, said she didn't want to lose me, but I think it's for the best. We both need space to heal and grow. I'm not sure what the future holds for us, but I hope she finds the help she needs. As for me, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. Thank you for reading. My boyfriend of 25 years lets his sister ban me from his house. So I play her threatening voicemails at a family gathering and watch as she loses everything. My boyfriend puts his sister's wants and needs above mine. I told him I feel hurt, and he became angry with me. I, 42-year-old female, met my boyfriend, 46-year-old male, about 25 years ago. We were good friends for years, then dated about 9 years ago for about a year. I'm a single mom to an amazing 16-year-old boy. My boyfriend and his friends were horrible to me, telling me I'm worthless, etc. And ultimately, I cut him out of my life for 8 years. It took me a long time to heal. He had a drinking problem and doesn't remember most of what he put me through. Last May, I graduated from nursing school and was in a very good place. He had been trying to get back into my life for some time and seemed to be different. He had been to therapy, apologized, and ultimately, I took him back, but I wasn't allowed at his house. He made generic excuses for several weeks before telling me it's because of his sister. His sister, 42-year-old female, whom I've met only a handful of times, dictates who is allowed in his house and when. We cannot have a normal relationship. She lived with my boyfriend until September, but despite having her own beautiful apartment now, she works from home at my boyfriend's place. I'm a nurse, so my schedule changes and I work long shifts. I haven't been allowed over during the week unless I wake up early on my day off to leave the house before she arrives. If she's there, I'm not even allowed to run inside to pee. I have had to use gas station bathrooms and one time even wet myself because she threatened to never speak to him again or worse if I came inside for even 5 minutes. She has her own bedroom at the house. She has never acknowledged my existence when we are in the same place. She hates every partner her brothers have. She blames this on her other brother's wife bullying her 20 years ago. This woman has no friends. She and my boyfriend act more like they are partners, and I feel like a mistress. He feels stuck in the middle because he doesn't want to be responsible for anything bad happening to her, and his parents will blame him. He tells me as a nurse I should understand. She refuses therapy. We were supposed to move in together into his house, but she made some threats and even said she'd take his dog, the only thing she has, in his house. Now my son and I have no place to go. I'm not even allowed to visit him at his home now. I'm so hurt by him putting her first for our entire relationship that I don't know what I want anymore. He denies he's even doing this. Most of their family lives in Ireland, so they only have each other. He can't even make room in his house for my son, but accommodates this fully functioning woman. I told him I feel hurt by the way he puts her first. He thinks I should be okay with things as they are because she's mentally ill. My heart is broken. This has made me so depressed I'm struggling to function. I was so happy before he came back into my life. Now my life is unrecognizable and feels hopeless. Am I wrong for feeling hurt by this? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You need to let this guy go. He and his family are a bad fit if you want inclusion and happiness. Her issues are her issues, but he is bending over backwards to accommodate her. I think you do not realize that he hasn't actually changed that much where you are concerned. Go back to your happy life. Comment 2. You are better off without him. You will be just fine without him. There is no future with this man. Your relationship will never grow. He has made his choice. You now need to choose you because he never will. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around to hear more of this mess. So, the other day, I thought things couldn't get worse, right? Wrong. My boyfriend's sister, let's call her the queen because she sure acts like one, decided to throw a curveball our way. She got into a car accident. Nothing serious, but enough to have her move back into my boyfriend's house temporarily because she needed him. And guess who's not allowed over it all now? Me. I was fuming. But it didn't stop there. The queen in all her glory convinced my boyfriend that it was my fault she was stressed and driving recklessly. Can you believe that? And he bought it. He actually had the nerve to tell me to back off for a while, for her sake, as if I was the one causing all the drama. Now, I've been patient, but everyone has their limits. I told him that he had to choose. It was either me or his sister. And you know what he did? He hesitated. That moment of silence was all I needed to hear. I was done being the other woman in my own relationship. But wait, it gets better. The next day, I found out from a mutual friend that the queen had been bad-mouthing me all over town, telling anyone who would listen that I was trying to kick her out of her brother's life. The nerve of her, after everything she's done to me. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I went to his house when I knew she'd be there. I confronted her, told her I knew what she was saying about me, and that I wasn't going to take it anymore. She just laughed in my face, but I had one more card to play. I had saved voicemails of her threats, and I played them right there, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. My boyfriend came running, and for the first time, he saw her for who she really was. He was shocked, and for a moment I thought he'd finally stand up to her. But old habits die hard. He told me he needed time to think about everything. Time. After all this time, he still couldn't decide. I walked away from that house, from him, and from the queen. I told him not to contact me until he had his priorities straight. But deep down, I knew it was over. I couldn't keep living like this, always second best. And now, here I am, trying to pick up the pieces of my life. My son and I are looking for a new place, and I'm focusing on my work. It's hard, but I'm getting by. I've learned that sometimes you have to be your own hero, because waiting for someone else to save you might mean you'll be waiting forever. Thanks for listening to my venting. It's been a rough few days. My girlfriend gets jealous of my kid and sabotages our time together. So I sent her packing and stuck her with the vet bills for her dog's bad behavior. Hi, my girlfriend and I have been together for roughly 2 years. She's always found it difficult that I have a child with another person, because it's something she wants with me. However, it just hasn't happened due to many reasons. My girlfriend is from a town roughly 3 hours from where we live, and she has lived with me for over a year as I own the property, and it's cheaper. Currently, I have an arrangement where I have my child every other Saturday, overnight, and Sunday, day only. We both also have big dogs, each around 2 years old, which can be very stressful at times. She knows I find it very difficult and stressful to have my child overnight and look after both dogs. There have been a few times recently where she has planned to go home and visit friends over the weekend when I would have my child overnight. This frustrates me a lot because I've always been consistent about having him on those days, and I've always worked around it. I brought it up to her and said, I can't always change the days left, right, and center. His mom works and she has to get childcare, etc. But even so, I have always moved it to either another day or just had him during the day. Fast forward to this morning, she informed me that she is planning on going home to see her family, even though I had already mentioned I had my son overnight this weekend. I asked her why she had planned something when she knew I had him overnight, and asked her if she could change her plans to a few weeks' time when we were back from holiday. Her response was, just change the day you have your son. All you ever do is appease the baby mama anyway. Of course, I was frustrated, told her she was being unfair, and that I have already changed the days a lot recently, and that I can't just keep changing it last minute. It turned into a massive argument, and she mentioned, I don't enjoy having him overnight anyway. Of course, this hurt, but made total sense to me that she'd been planning stuff when I had him overnight to avoid it. She also tried gaslighting me, saying, I never said it, to, I don't remember saying it, to, I need a brain scan. There is something wrong with me. It really did escalate, and now I'm just ignoring her. I'm not going to say it's every time I have him overnight, because it's not. And she is really good with him. I cannot fault her at all. I just can't stop replaying this, I don't enjoy having him overnight. I'm kind of lost for words and don't know how to react. At the moment, I have sent her back home to see her friends, along with her dog, so I can enjoy my time with my son this weekend. How do I get over the fact she said it? And should I? Will the resentment that I have a child with someone else ever go away? She seems to think having a child will solve it, but I'm not convinced. Should I apologize? Was I wrong for being frustrated? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. She also tried gaslighting me, saying, I never said it, to, I don't remember saying it, to, I need a brain scan. There is something wrong with me. Nasty, steaming trash surrounded by hundreds of flies. How do I get over the fact she said it? By breaking up and finding someone who doesn't treat you and your son like this. Comment 2. She's jealous of your child because the poor kid exists. If you continue this relationship, it's only going to get worse. Put your child first. She needs to move out, and you should break up with her. Now for the update. Hi. A lot has happened since the last post. So after I sent her back home, things got even messier. She came back early saying she missed me and wanted to talk. But when she got back, she dropped a bombshell. She's been talking to her ex again. Apparently they've been in touch for months, and she's been confiding in him about our issues. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. She said she was sorry, that it was just emotional and nothing physical. But how am I supposed to trust her now? I was so angry I couldn't even look at her. She tried to explain that she felt lonely, and that talking to him made her feel understood. But that's no excuse. I mean, we all have our moments of weakness. But to go behind my back and talk to an ex, that's a whole other level of betrayal. And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, her dog got into a fight with mine. It was bad. We had to rush them to the vet and the bills were through the roof. It was like adding insult to injury. We were already in a rough spot. And now this? It felt like everything was falling apart. We barely spoke for days after that. The silence in the house was deafening. I kept replaying her words and the revelation about her ex in my head. I couldn't shake the feeling of jealousy and betrayal. It was eating me up inside. But then I had to focus on my son. He needed me, and I couldn't let my personal drama get in the way of being there for him. So I put on a brave face and tried to give him the best weekend I could, despite everything that was going on. After he went back to his mom's, I confronted her. I told her that I couldn't just sweep everything under the rug. She broke down, saying she knew she messed up and that she'd do anything to fix things. But I was at my limit. I told her that I needed space to think and that she should stay with her family for a while. She left and the house felt empty. But it also felt like a weight had been lifted. I had time to think without her there, to really consider what I wanted. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that maybe this was for the best. Maybe we weren't right for each other after all. I decided to cut her off. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, but I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't keep wondering if she was telling me the truth or if she was talking to her ex behind my back. I needed to move on, for my sake and for my son's. It's been a couple of weeks now, and it's still tough. But I'm starting to feel like I made the right decision. I'm focusing on my son and on myself, trying to rebuild and move forward. It's not easy, but I'm getting there, one day at a time. Thanks for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.